Last week, we talked about how posting more isn't the key to getting seen. But what if I told you that even if you post strategically, you might still be missing the one thing that actually keeps your audience coming back? Welcome back to the Go Be Great with Coach Karena podcast. I am, in fact, your host, prophetic and intuitive life and business strategist, Karena Calhoun. Today, we're talking about the missing link in your visibility strategy, the piece that separates content that gets ignored from content that gets shared, commented on, and saved. And I have to say this, spoiler alert, it's not the algorithm. It's not more hashtags. And it's definitely not luck. Okay. So, a couple of key takeaways that we're going to talk about is the one thing that's keeping your content from getting real engagement, how to shift from posting to positioning your content, why most people focus on the wrong metrics, and what actually matters. If you feel like you're showing up but still not getting the traction, this episode is for you. Why visibility still feels hard. I know. You implemented what we talked about last week. You stopped just posting for the sake of it and started creating with purpose. Maybe you even tweaked your messaging, added better CTAs, refined your strategy. But here's the question: why are some people able to post less and still grow faster? What's the real difference between someone whose content builds a thriving audience and someone who feels stuck no matter what they do? So, we're going to break down a few misconceptions. Number one, it's not just consistency. Posting regularly without depth won't get you noticed. It's not the algorithm. The algorithm follows engagement, not the other way around. It's not just strategy. A solid strategy helps, but execution makes the difference. Need you to hear that. The same reason some content thrives while others flop, I'm going to tell you the positioning and the connection. Most people create content that's informative, but not connective. They focus on tactics instead of emotional resonance. Let's fix that. The missing link is positioning and connection. Positioning and connection. So, the first thing that you want to do is really look at the positioning. Why your content needs a clear standpoint. Most content is forgettable because it doesn't take a stance, it blends in, it lacks authority, it lacks relatability, all at the same time. When you create content, you're either reinforcing what your audience already believes or challenging them to think differently. Now, how do you position your content better? You're going to ask yourself, does my content create an emotional shift? The second thing is you want to use contrast. Show what people are doing versus what actually works. Make your audience the hero. Your content should feel like a mirror for them. Here's an example. Instead of saying post with purpose, say, here's why your content isn't working, even when you're doing everything right. This would be an example for someone in my industry. The next thing is you want to look at connection. Why your content feels invisible to the right people. Most people create content that's clear to them, but not their audience. The real key is to really create content that meets your audience right where they are. No matter where you think they should be, meet them right where they are. Now, the next thing is how to create content that connects. Address internal struggles. What's your audience thinking when they're scrolling? What are they thinking? Use their language. Are you talking to them or are you talking at them? Give small wins. Content that helps them take micro steps builds trust. Here's an example. Instead of saying, you need better content, say, you're not getting engagement because you're talking to yourself, not your audience. See what that triggers? Now, the next thing that you want to do is look at your visibility, I would say, formula. You want to shift from posting to positioning. So, how do we bring all of this together? How do we take your content from posting with purpose to being positioned so well that it naturally attracts engagement? I'm going to give you 5 steps. 5 steps within this particular formula. There's clarity. Who are you talking to and what do they need? Connection. Are you creating relatable, emotionally driven content? Number 3, conversation. Does your content make people want to respond? Number 4, authority. Are you positioning yourself as someone worth following? And then number 5, strategic consistency. Are you showing up where it matters, not just everywhere? Now, I want you to do just this quick exercise with me. I want you to look at your last 5 posts. Do they make someone feel something? Do they spark conversation? If not, this is where we need to shift your approach. Finally, I want to say this. I want to give you just some takeaways and some next steps. First and foremost, takeaway number 1, more content isn't the answer. Better position content is. Second takeaway, your content should spark emotion and conversation, not just inform your audience. Number 3, which is the next step, start focusing on connection, not just strategy. So, if this episode hit home, I want you to DM me positioning and let's talk about how you can start making content that actually gets seen. And if you haven't listened to last week's episode, go back and catch up on that because these 2 episodes work together. So I am going to close out here. This has been a blast. I truly hope this has been informative to you. It has been helpful for you, and this causes you to take immediate action because it is time, my friend. It is time for you to go be great. Bye for now. See you on the flip side.